There is an entire future that's going to take place.
If there are compromised government officials in those...
There was an attack planned on President Donald Trump and Dana.
He also said that data centers lower utility bill.
Breaking news. This video of Trump shaking Brigitte Macron's hand is going viral right now on Twitter for the most bizarre reason. People think it's just a strange handshake. Now, if you watch closely, really nothing happens except it's an extended handshake. Now, keep in mind, this is the same Brigitte Macron who was on video, what was it, like last year, where in the background of a live TV segment, she like pushes or slaps Macron here. Could you imagine if the roles were reversed, by the way? Now, this is a still from that footage that was uncovered. The question is this, though. Don't you think it's interesting that these people get allegedly elected, but then they go to these meetings, Bilderberg, WEF, G8, G20, and discuss and plot the fate of billions with new policies, new laws, new visions for the future? Of course, none of them will ever address things like the aerial spraying that's going on throughout Canada and northern United States and even Lake Tahoe, where they're spraying, which nobody wants, nobody voted for, but is being fully allowed. And in fact, they're telling us the benefits of it. Managing the forest management. Yet there's food crises going on right now where if instead of spending billions of dollars on this, that, or the other, if we grew or made rather a bajillion greenhouses and started growing food organically, natural farmingly, Korean natural farming, which is an amazing rabbit hole I implore everyone to check out if you're into gardening or growing food. Korean natural farming and no-till farming are like the coolest things you could be researching right now. I have several books on it, actually. But anyways, I can't help but think we're being duped on a massive scale here. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
Yeah, the duping has been happening for quite some time. Hey, are the presidents really the same, or are they like always changed, or are they all puppets? These are the real things. Yeah, I seen the slap as well, and it was like more like a push, but they're still together, right? And like the ladies even older than. Never mind, it don't matter. Welcome back, goons. You're watching Explore the Weird. Got some more creepy, weird, strange For You page content. If you like this type of content, you already know the things. You gotta do the interacting. Appreciate you, love you. Let's get right into it.
Tedi Ganja crew, triple cheese. Hey. Woo. Yeah, let's go to the mountain.
My grandfather, he was very instrumental with telling the guys.
Telling who?
Wozniak specifically, but
Wozniak
also
and Jobs.
Steve. He said to them, look, guys, there is an entire future that's going to take place. He was the precursor. This is precursing the internet. He actually had some ideas that turned and manifested into the early onsets of the bubble.
Of the Silicon Valley bubble.
Yes, the Silicon Valley bubble that bursted in 1986. My grandfather had precursor ideas of all this shit, bro. He had literally written it out. He was literally like a Michelangelo of this shit.
So you think he had some knowledge that other people...
Well, no, I mean, I know. He actually worked closely with Satoshi.
How did he know him?
I can't speak on
All right, I don't want to...
But yeah, he was involved with the early onset of Bitcoin.
Holy crap.
Sell it to ETH, buy it back, and then flip it. And then we would send to the guys. This money was so untraceable, no one had any idea where the show's coming from.
Or how much it's worth.
Well,
right?
Precisely.
Wow.
So we could pay dime a dollar.
Effectively, you were like underpaying your whole staff.
Big time.
Well, look, it's on them, you know?
Bro, look it up. Use a fucking index, a coin index. It's not that complicated.
No.
It's not fucking rocket science.
It's out there.
Which, by the way, on my mom's side, my grandfather worked for Lockheed Martin. And he took a lot of the stuff he worked on to the grave. And this is actually factual information.
So no one's
Just let
gonna...
me speak.
All right.
He wasn't allowed to talk about the shit he was doing because it was working with alien technologies. And when I say alien, I don't mean UFO mumbo jumbo. I mean, he was working with out of this world stuff, bro.
Like alien stuff.
Precisely.
I mean...
Oh my God, just let the man speak. R.I.P. Oliver, this is crazy. Now I'm like looking back and like, hey, did this man get silenced because he knew too much? I mean, like he's making all the connections similar to like how I do. Wait a second. So what does this mean? Like, hey, his entire family's like part of the thing and he's planted in our. Never mind. I don't know. It feels like he was exposing the things. Cool. I guess time will only tell.
Okay. So this girl is saying that she bought a new car and she knows how to disable all the tracking services in it.
Your car spying on you? Here's how to check. You see, I just purchased a Toyota 4Runner after 18 years of driving a Honda Element. It was like a brick phone on wheels, but now I'm driving a smartphone with all kinds of tracking technology. So the first thing I did before even leaving the dealership was turn off as much data collection as possible. I downloaded the manufacturer's app, entered my VIN, and then declined all connected services features. These wirelessly transmit my location and vehicle health to Toyota. Then I went to vehicleprivacyreport.com, entered my VIN, and I about died when I saw all the tracking still on my car. My 4Runner collects identifiers like my name, mailing address, email, and demographic info. It also collects biometrics, including my geolocation, driver's license, and financial info. And I learned my car not only tracks my data, it sells it too. My car sells information to affiliates like sponsors, partners, and advertisers. It shares my data with service providers and its affiliated insurance company, but only if I've provided consent, which I don't remember doing. And finally, it should come as a surprise to no one that car companies will share your data with the government when legally obligated to do so. So I opted out of targeted advertising, the sharing or selling of my data, and any marketing communications. Now check your car's privacy and let me know. Is your
That's insane, dude. So even if you opt out of these policies, it's purposely integrated so that you are being tracked and your data is being sold with these new cars, especially you guys. But I guess there's some things you can do to prevent your data from being sold, but it's basically impossible, I think, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's impossible to like not have your data sold. They're selling all the data. But like, hey, I don't think it was like the opt out was the issue. She doesn't remember opting in. And like they gave her an interface where she could opt out. But like, come on, just because you click a button, does it really mean they stop tracking? Come on now, you're smarter than that. They just had an anonymous sticker and they still keep doing the tracking. Don't you kid yourself.
Hi, I am the UGA student that asked this question to JD Vance at the Turning Point event on Tuesday.
If there are compromised government officials in those files, how can the public trust that this administration will hold anyone accountable when its own Justice Department is actively blocking the investigation?
I sat at the front of the event and was prepared to ask a question on whether there should be a formal investigation. When I saw they opened it up for Q&A, I immediately tried to get to the mic. When the spotlight came on for the Q&A, 5 people were already standing there wearing suits and dresses with TPUSA lanyards already positioned there. I still got up and got in line, and I think I was the first one there that was not a part of TPUSA, so I just sat in line and got ready to ask my question. When we were waiting in line, this lady in a blue top was going around asking people, especially not in TPUSA, what topic we are going to ask about. When I was waiting in line and the lady came up to me, I could tell from her tone that they were probably screening the questions by topic, so I just said that I was going to ask on foreign policy. After a few more times of people coming up to me and asking what my topic was, this finally happened.
Thank you so much.
This will be the last question.
Okay. Can we take 2 more? Because I like it. I like answering questions. We'll take a couple more.
This was the last person in front of me, and when JD Vance said that they were going to have a few more questions, this lady immediately went back and started asking what my topic was again, and specifically what I was going to ask about, looking at my phone and saying, "Can you please read your question to me?" I was astonished how they were talking to us, so I went off to the side to talk to somebody sitting down, and I looked back and immediately someone had cut me in line. The lady in blue put this girl right in front of me because her topic was better than mine, and here you can see me fighting back on that a little bit. Luckily, JD Vance asked for one more question again and finally let me ask a question, so I finally got to get off my chest.
Yeah. We'll do one more. Sorry, real quick. I love this, but I gotta go.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President, and coming to UGA and allowing us to express our freedom of speech. So thank you so much.
This is my first time at a TPUSA event and a political event, but I just wanted to show that this was my experience, and they might preach for freedom of speech and non-censorship, but this was just my experience and how they managed the event. Thank you.
Wait, what was your question? I feel like I got the last. Wait, but I guess it wasn't about the question. It was about like how they were like basically screening you, and like they were basically like telling you whether you were good to ask or not. And that lady literally tried to silence you. I mean, it seemed like, hey, something wanted you to speak that day. When I first saw you, I thought this was like clavicular or something, but I'm like, no, this is just some other nice-looking guy. Very nice, very sharp. All right, cool. Was your question answered? Not going political, just trying to figure out, like, was this question answered?
And I know specifically that it is not just satanic panic and they are actually practicing witchcraft is because I, myself, served in the military as a witch. Like, I don't know how else to put that.
And this is exactly why I never argue with people in the comments when I talk about this stuff. Because I will literally say witches, psychics, all of them work with the military. She was actually in the Navy. She also put out a video, which is deleted now, about when she joined, she started to receive messages telepathically that gave her instructions about a new program where she was able to serve as a witch, because the only people who could hear the message were other people who were gifted. They created synthetic telepathy, which is something I've posted about on this page, and I showed you a document from a whistleblower about this. And she also confirmed something else that I told you, that a lot of us psychic people, a lot of us who are tapped into the energies at one point in our lives want to work for the government or go to the military because of that telepathic message. We hear that. And what was interesting about that video I posted, the comments were split. It was either between veterans or people who are close to veterans that knew exactly what I was talking about and was agreeing with me, or it was the average person who has no idea what I'm talking about and thought I was being crazy. And this is why I say, your reality is based on your experiences and your perception. That does not mean that is the only reality in this world. There are multiple timelines for people who can do different things. And sometimes when you open your eyes and think about a possibility, you realize the world is a lot bigger and stranger than you.
Man, you can't wake up everybody, lady. Hey, people are gonna get upset with you. Just because they don't agree with you doesn't mean that you're wrong. Your experiences are your experiences. Stop telling me the things. I already believe you. All right, yeah. I mean, they even said the alphabet agencies use these beings. So, like, why would the Navy not? Right? Like, they were all using them. That's the only way. The original witches were the witches of the Salem. Never mind.
Now, who's ready to go deep down the conspiracy rabbit hole today? I got a loose set of facts that I'm going to stitch together, and I'm going to speculate wildly. Who's in? All right, now I'm sure you guys have seen this theory that these mountains are actually ancient trees. I mean, just look at them. I mean, they don't look like normal mountains, do they? They look like tree stumps. Probably because they were. I mean, they look like tree stumps, don't they? You know, in many parts of the world, they actually believe in these ancient trees. They have mythologies and legends of a world tree, including the Norsemen, who believed in Yggdrasil. What if I told you one of the major governments in the world actually believed in this kind of thing? And I've got evidence. Check this out. The German Reichstag building. Probably the most famous building in Germany that houses Germany's parliament. You know, it got a renovation in the late 90s. They added this dome and this crazy architectural feature. What is that? When I first saw it, I thought, maybe that's a tornado. Did the Germans have a tornado machine? Well, I haven't completely ruled that out, but I noticed the shape of that dome is odd. And I'd seen it before. So I overlaid Yggdrasil over it, and it's an exact match. That's strange, right? Is that a world tree up there? Is the dome symbolic of the firmament? You know what they said about this feature? That it allows the people to literally walk above their government. Take a look at where their parliament would be located in the underworld. That's interesting. In Norse mythology, you know what the bottom part of the tree was called? Nephelheim. Very similar to the biblical term Nephilim, which means fallen ones.
I don't know if this is the Nephilim, right?
I was going to say.
I don't know.
I know.
Here we go.
Am I reaching, bro? Probably, but you know, truth is stranger than fiction. And yeah, what do you guys?
I don't think you're reaching. I feel like you know exactly what's going on. They're lying about the things, and the people that know are trying to keep the stuff hidden away, and we're the ones asking the questions to really be like, hey, is this plausible? But I do believe, like, hey, that could be like artistic display, like they're saying, oh, we're walking on the government, maybe, or like 100% wind generator or tornado or whatever it may be, harp type thing that they've integrated into things, or like some type of depiction of a firmament, maybe, but they have these domes everywhere, even in the olden architecture. Interesting.
Did you know that in theme parks, large animatronics are left broken because fixing them is genuinely dangerous. This is because of large hydraulics or pneumatics. Maintenance requires lockout or tagout. Failures have caused serious injuries or deaths. Also, did you know that most people think that theme park injuries happen because like a ride malfunctioned, crashed, derailed, or something happened? In reality, it's mostly user error. Either someone stood up when they weren't supposed to, they went on a ride knowing they had heart problems, or they entered a restricted zone and got decapitated. Also, theme parks heavily rely on waivers that you most of the time do not sign, but are built in to your tickets, and numerous posted warnings throughout the park that are legally binding. Ride at your own risk, don't ride if you have X condition, whatever, something happens, not liable. Remember when Disney had that thing in their Disney Plus subscription? Also, the reason why people are screaming stop the ride, and no one stops the ride is because some rides cannot be stopped without serious life or death injuries happen. High-speed coasters are designed to fail safely while slowing to a stop. This is because without it, it could cause spinal cord injuries, it could cause restraints to go into people, cause train collisions. Also, theme park water is legally classified as decorative, not recreational. This is because of the different chemical standards. It's not filtered and not suitable for humans to swim in it.
Wait, all theme park water or just like the water park theme parks? Like, are the theme parks that are water parks classified differently? And like, that's why they're decorative, because they're not so... Oh my God, I feel like I shouldn't peer any further because then I'm not going to any parks. But then again, I don't go anywhere. I just stay home, stay safe. And the times I do travel, I do it for the things. All right, cool. Lady, also, what are these stars on your forehead? They were very distracting. And I'm like, do they glow in the dark or do they not? These are the things I wonder.
So we know this is a famous vampire from New Orleans. Well, not from New Orleans, from France. But how did he become known as a vampire? I'm about to tell you. Back in the 1600s, people were obsessed with trying to turn base metals into gold, which is the process of alchemy. And there was a famous alchemist by the name of Count Saint Germain, right? Okay, so apparently he's a descendant of him. He was also supposed to have had the Philosopher's Stone. Yes, the Harry Potter Philosopher's Stone. It did the same thing. If you had it, you were supposed to be immortal, okay? Everyone thought he had it. Sightings of this guy date all the way back to 325 AD. People all over, famous people, have claimed to hung out with this guy. People such as Voltaire, Casanova, King Louis XV, and even Catherine the Great. But the first time anyone was like, wait a minute, I think this guy may be like a vampire or something, was at her party. This is Madame de Pompadour. I probably butchered that, but I tried, so... She's the mistress of King Louis XV. She threw a party, everybody was there, this guy was there, and so was the Countess von Gregory. So she was there and she's like, hey, I know that guy. She's like, go talk to him, go say something. He said, no, the guy that I knew, that has to be his son or something, because I haven't seen this guy in like 50 years, but he looks exactly like he did 50 years ago. So she walks across the room, goes up to him. He's like, hey girl, how's it going? Hey, Countess, what have you been up to? He doesn't even try to pretend like he's the son or anything. He flat out admits that it's him and that he was over 100 years old. And he just was like, yeah, I'm over 100, no big deal. And then when everybody was like, what the hell? Like, are you a vampire or whatever? That's when he scoots on over to New Orleans. Just when you think this guy is like interesting enough, you start finding out that he's been seen with famous people throughout time, all the way back to the 300s. So, what's going on? Where is he now? Where is he now?
Yeah, I have the same question. Where is he now? Is he in our timeline? Does he resemble anybody else that you guys have seen? Oh my God, imagine he's just walking around with a Philosopher's Stone. How do we get access? Can the Philosopher's Stone be chopped up so we can figure the things out? Do you need to like have some type of enchanting mirror to have the Philosopher's Stone pocketed into you? I don't know. I don't know how it works. But now I'm like, how do I get the Elder Wand so I can figure out how to get the things? Because Harry Potter's real. Harry Potter's real.
You see this meme? The real reason is so much more fun. So let's talk about it. Because if you didn't know that your pupil is actually a hole in the middle of your eye, straight through a hole. It just has a little cover over top of it. And you see the red eye in pictures, it's because the light is shining through the hole and showing the blood that's underneath. It's just the blood in your pupil hole. Isn't that so much more fun? I think so.
Wait, that was not more fun. I feel like I didn't need to know this, but now I just need that red eye corrector back again. But then again, I don't see many phones or the red eye problem coming back in. Did the problem solve itself? Is this still a problem? These are the real questions.
There was an attack planned on President Donald Trump and Dana White and basically everybody else at UFC 250 the other night at the White House, but the FBI stopped the terrorists before it could happen. This is wild. Listen to what they were planning. About a dozen perpetrators were grabbed by the FBI. Their plot was to fly drones that were loaded down with explosives into buildings surrounding the White House. I guess they didn't think they could get close enough to the White House because there's anti-drone technology, but they were going to start bombing near the White House with these drones. And then when everybody started evacuating and running away, they were going to have snipers set to just start firing randomly into the crowd. And keep in mind, this crowd was a lot of military men and women were invited by the White House to take part in this UFC event. Now, Kash Patel, the FBI director, this morning announced that the plot had been thwarted. They found out about it a couple of weeks ago. They did some investigating. The FBI grabbed, like we said, 24 people that were involved. And of course, the event went off without a hitch. But it's another reminder that every single time President Donald Trump does anything, whether it's playing golf, whether it's going to a rally, whether it's going to the White House press dinner, or even walking out into his front yard to watch a UFC event, he is constantly under threat, as are the rest of us.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad everything worked out, but I'm also like doubting the legitimacy of this story, and it feels like something that they would 100% use as a distraction. But it's like, why do we need this distraction when the entire event is Never mind. I'm glad it happened and no one got hurt. Cool.
So Stephen Greer was right the whole time.
He was right, except something has gone wrong. I don't know what it is. I don't understand. He is responsible for introducing CE5 and all these things to all of us. And then there was action taken against him and his team in which everyone around him, including himself, got a rare form of cancer, and all of them, and he almost.
AKA, they tried to silence him, and now I'm like, hey, maybe at one point he did do the things, and yeah, he's like responsible for some of the things that we now have exposed in this realm or area. But I'm also like, hey, this guy is also a plant and replaced, and that's why he's allowed to still say the things, because like they're like, we're done with him. They're never gonna believe him. Oh my God.
You know those protests going on in Albania right now? Yeah, from Ivanka Columbus discovering their island that they've been using for a long time. Yeah, Israeli settlers are there with temporary housing. They're developers with a $1.5 billion project of a luxury resort. Why am I not surprised? The Albanians are on it. They're like destroying their temporary housing. But I just find it weird that Ivanka Columbus discovered this while being on a yacht owned by the Rothschilds, as if the Rothschilds didn't know that this island was there. All right, she said she walked barefoot onto the island when she discovered it, when in fact the yacht they were on had a helicopter pad. They could have just taken a helicopter. So she built a fantasy story around stealing someone's land. She acts like Sazan Island hasn't been fought over for over 1,000 years. The Ottoman Empire actually used this as a vantage point in war. Wait, whoever controls this island also controls the strait nearby that is a main artery for naval access during war. Yeah, and whoever controls this area also controls shipping, like imports and exports from the civilians in the area. So the Rothschilds wanted to be a part of that. You know, they're inbred. I just saw the development has been put on hold due to the 10 days of massive protests. Yeah, the block was hot, so they're trying to get everything to calm down so that next time this is in the news, it won't be like a big deal and they can just take it over. Because they're going to take it over regardless.
Wait, are the Rothschilds like the Whitakers or like the... Never mind. These aren't the questions. Okay, yes. They're doing the distractions, and the island purchase was well planned well before like they told us about the things in the planned interview. Come on now. They already bought the things and planned the things well before they even did the purchase.
You also said that data centers lower utility bills, not raise them. Do you still stand by that statement?
Yes, on balance, they are the biggest force we have right now to stop the rise of electricity prices and ultimately to drive them down. Yes.
What if I told you that I represent more data centers than any other member of Congress, and data centers have actually doubled our energy costs? What would you think of that?
I would. They've been developed data centers in your area for a long time, so. But were data centers the driver of a doubling in the real cost of energy? Yes. I would say that I would say that's false.
It's going to continue to actually increase our energy costs. I can show you my utility bill, anywhere from 25% to 200% increases in our utility bills only because of data.
Yeah, I'm not sure who this person is, but I'm like vibing with them. I'm like, yeah, 100%. It makes sense. They're using energy. They want to pay for the energy. The power company wants to make money. They're going to upcharge them, or they're going to upcharge you, and they're going to level out the competition across the board and make sure that you can either afford it. Hey, you can pay to play, or you can be free to play. And I'm sure a lot of you ain't going to be free to play. You're going to pay to play.
You see they got a new hate term that just dropped for the data centers. Like, they got their own hate term.
What's that?
From the government. So this is from Wired. Among the documents in the tranche obtained by Wired is a New York Intelligence and Counterterrorism Bureau report that warns of widespread upheaval in response to AI adoption. They're warning about this. Can't have upheaval from the people upset about being surveilled away, right? Of particular note is a novel term for what the Bureau purports to be an emerging extremism threat. The chaotic atmosphere that may result from emergent AI technology in the next 5 years may fuel large-scale protests that devolve into civil unrest and anti-tech violent extremist activity, especially in large urban areas such as New York City. The report reads, the term anti-tech violent extremism does not appear in any publicly available DHS or FBI domestic extremism reports or guides, and represents a novel grouping of a wide range of ideologies under a single extremist category. So don't hate the AI, because that will be a hate crime. They're already setting the bar there.
So they're basically like the Will Smiths of iRobot, right? Like, he didn't hate the robots, but like he hated the robots because like somehow the robot calculated who to save and it chose him instead of like never mind. Here I am trying to explain the entire thing. Wait, was that iRobot or was that I Am Legend? Regardless, both great movies. Cool.
Boom. Georgia Power, go to hell. Go to hell immediately. As fast as fucking possible, bitch. Fast as fuck. Okay? So, for those of y'all that don't know, I am bi-coastal. I split my time between Los Angeles and Atlanta. I got an apartment in Atlanta. I got my motherfucking Georgia Power bill for 1 month. That bitch is $600. $600 fucking dollars. I don't even spend enough time in that apartment in fucking Georgia for my Georgia Power bill to be $600 motherfucking dollars. I maybe spend maybe a week or two, realistically, in that fucking apartment, and that bitch is fucking $600. I wasn't even home. I haven't even been there. And that motherfucker is $600? Go to fucking hell, Georgia Power. Cut that motherfucker off. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling y'all right now, I will have portable chargers that I will charge at my fucking neighbor's house. I will be in that motherfucker with candles. Okay? It won't be a light on, not shit plugged up in that bitch. Georgia Power, go to hell. And I mean that from the bottom of my motherfucking soul. Go to hell.
All right, ladies, simmer down. Like, I also pay the power bill, and I gotta tell you something. Like, it's metered. Like, unless you're consuming the power, so something must have been left on in that month for it to be $600. Probably turn off all your devices if you're not gonna be there a long time, because, like, come on, if the meter's going up, something's consuming it. But like, hey, I'm not trying to hate. There are ways around it. Like, yeah, you can use your neighbor's power, but now your neighbor's paying for something. See, this is the thing. You feel like you're trying to go free to play, but you really want to do pay to play, and I'm like, hey, it's going to end up being you're going to be paying to play in one coast or the other. So if it's not you paying, someone's paying, and you somehow doing the things in order to get that payment. All right, cool. Learn nothing.
99% of the observable universe is made out of plasma. 99%. Okay? Isn't it weird how we get taught about solids, gases, and liquids, but not plasma, the fourth state of matter? That's 99% of the universe. Why aren't we taught about that in school?
That's weird.
Weird, right? Do you ever remember being taught plasma in school?
Well, when did they start learning that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but it's certainly before my time in school. I didn't get taught it. You know what I mean?
So why would they? Are you saying that they perhaps are hiding this?
I think that there's things within plasma physics that are so novel and exotic, like these self-organizing EVOs, exotic vacuum objects. And the science that they're studying in... Have you ever heard of the Sapphire Project?
No.
It's kind of gone quiet now. Hal Puthoff got involved with it for a minute, where they're, claiming to bottle the stars, and they're creating these plasmic, self-organizing plasmas inside these chambers that they were claiming could transform metals from one metal into gold, or, like transmutation of elements and complete revolution of propulsion and energy, and then it just fizzles out.
I always wondered about that
There is
with
something to
alchemy.
plasma. There
Like,
is
why
something.
were people really trying to make gold? That seems so crazy that you think you could make something like that. And I always wonder, did maybe somebody used to make it and they have like this story of how people used to make gold? Like if there was, like imagine the caps of the Great Pyramids are in gold, right? And what if they made that gold?
Right.
Yeah, they could have made that gold, but then it wouldn't explain like the ancient astronaut theory of the ancient astronauts coming here to get our gold because they ran out of gold and mined it in their place. If we could just make the gold, oh my God, could you imagine? They would just take our alchemical powers or prowess, and just like do the things in their own home planet, and they don't need us in any way, shape, or form. Nah, the gold's important. They hide in the gold for a reason. That's why they stopped the monetization of the gold and relaying it to the dollar, and have now started printing whatever they can, and nothing's tied to anything. But the gold still be getting stored, and they slowly depleting the gold. Hey, are you panning? Are you gold panning? These are the real questions. Wait, this is so weird. This is like the next like alchemy video that I've seen. There's some weird things going on with the algorithm. It's telling me the things without telling me the things.
When I say mud flood, it's not like a flooding of mud, but the liquefying of dirt that exists. And what it does is it basically makes it look like this, where all our world's fairs with all these structures are surrounded in dirt and mud. A lot of these buildings buried, so all we see is that top floor, and we think it's the bottom floor. We all know California has a lot of basements, but that's because there's an entire city we just buried and then built on top of. Now, we did that because we needed to hide technology that we can't explain. This is why I'm digging.
Wait, where are you digging? Did you call before you dig, or are you just digging? Man, what type of things are you digging? Are you trying to find the gold? Wait a second. Are you Never mind. All right, cool.
It's like every day I'm up between the hours of like 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. And then I see people online talk about they share the same experience. And what's funny is I researched a little bit into that. And back in like the Renaissance time, Shakespearean time, they called waking up between the hours of 2 and 5 and going back to sleep your second sleep. And what they said was during those hours was when your mind was the most creative. And they felt like it was a spiritual time where you can gather a bunch of ideas from the stars. So a lot of people would wake up during those times and they would write novels, compose music, make paintings, if you will. And then they'd go back to sleep for their second sleep, and they'd wake up for the day and work their regular jobs. And it's so funny because it brings me back to a time where I was listening to Prince or reading about Prince talking about an interview. And he said that if he woke up and thought about an idea, he would immediately write it down, because the one time he didn't, Michael Jackson had his idea in a song. So he felt like if he didn't write down the idea, that God would give it to Michael Jackson. And I think that's the funniest thing, because I felt like that. I've always like, you never think about ideas and then you just forget to write it down, and then you see somebody else in the world have it. What if it's like a spiritual realm of ideas that people tap into, and if you don't lock it down and you don't sign some type of spiritual contract that is yours, that it might be given away. I mean, I just think about that and I think it's funny. So me and a friend of mine who just are filled with ideas is funny, but if we have ideas that we bounce off of each other, I say, hey, we say to each other, hey, I need to bounce this off of you before Michael Jackson steals it. I just think that's the funniest thing. But in reality, this has been something that humans have experienced since the beginning of time. And I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I can vibe with that. Write the things down so that way others don't write it down because God gave it to them. That feels weird, but like kind of real at the same time. When I first heard the Michael Jackson reference, I'm like, the like button does all this? The like button taking your creativity? No, the like button make me a lot more creative, right? Right? Why does no one ever say right? We're going to do one more.
To the people that are upset with all the applicants for streaming university saying, y'all need to go get real jobs and apply to a real university. This is sad. These are grown people, by the way. It draws attention to the fact that Nobody supports you when you're in the entertainment industry until you're actually on, because the world stops whenever Castanet does anything. But I'm very sure he had to start somewhere. People have a problem whenever you are trying to break the status quo, because everybody else wants you to go to the 9 to 5 and do what it is that they're doing, X, Y, and Z. But if you don't want that lifestyle, they have a problem with you, and they don't think that your dream is going to work. As someone who came to Los Angeles and got their degree in performing arts, when I first started my college journey, I had people, even family members, say, what are you going to do with that type of degree? I'm going to use it, okay? You don't ask nobody who went to school for nursing what they about to do. Obviously, they finna go to a hospital and apply. Same rules apply. And people who are like, oh, y'all are just trying to be lazy and make money off the internet, X, Y, and Z. That's not lazy, baby. That's smart. The way this economy is going, you should also learn how to monetize your socials, your Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff, because it's an extra form of income that's keeping the bills paid. Everybody don't want to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their life. You might be cool with clocking in every single day, but some people are trying to build their own schedules, and they've successfully seen other people do so. So you can't knock their dreams because they don't want to do what it is that you do. But I digress.
I don't know how we landed here, but I'm vibing with this lady. I'm like, yeah, 100%. I don't want to work, but like, hey, I have to put in the work. But even like figuring out those things is still work. But like, none of it actually ever feels like work. I just feel like I'm living and doing the things, and everyone's just transpiring and around me. They're just, coming into existence as I keep doing the things. And I'm so glad. And now I have you, a wonderful goon that keeps coming back and watching more Teddy videos, because hey, listen, you made it to the end. How'd you do? Are you gonna watch more Teddy videos? Are you gonna interact? Did you forget to interact in the beginning? Come on now. Hey, listen, there should be videos on the screen right now. Click on either one of them to continue that goon fix. The one in the middle, you can subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.